Alright, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning into Big Stan from 2007. As you see, Big Stan himself here, played by Rob Schneider, overrated comedian. So it looks like he's a real estate agent here, helping out this woman here with a certain issue about her apartment building. And she immediately agrees after Big Stan says some nice things, which I won't play. Watch that on your own. Here comes Stan's girlfriend, or wife, and these FBI agents are here to arrest him for fraud. Oh yeah, his real name is Stan Menton, or Menton.
I'll take it. Smart move. Just sign your Jane Hancock right here on the dotted line.
Stan Menton, you're under arrest for fraud. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law.
It's just a little mix.
So now he's in court, and you gotta love these early 2000s suits. And yes, Stan is guilty. As Stan is with his lawyer here, Mal, played by Richard Kind, and his wife, Mindy, played by Jennifer Morrison. And Stan's only idea here is to bribe the judge, so he sees a bench outside and tells Mal that he's fired.
Sentencing will be tomorrow at 10 a.m.
What the fuck?
So we now meet the new lawyer with the bench at Mr. Popper, played by M. Emmett Walsh, representing Stan Menton. And he loses the case, and his actor playing the judge is also back, played by Richard Reel. He's in a lot of known movies. If you've seen my Fugitive video from almost a month ago, he's also in that movie. He's like that corrections officer. So Stan is now sentenced to 3 years in prison since the judge thinks Stan will be teaching music to kids, and was all used as a cover-up so that Stan could be free, but it didn't work out. So he's still going to prison. So crooked real estate agent and crooked lawyer team up. Of course, that's a bad combination. Stan and Popper over here. So Stan's got 6 months till prison time as he eats at his favorite restaurant with Mindy, and she even wants a baby and gives her the funniest reasons ever.
That's right. Stretch marks. Scary stuff, huh?
So now he goes to this biker establishment, which is usually just a biker bar, where he does get a drink, but he's really dared for some advice on prison and even pays the guy here $100. So Stan is actually at a gay bar for bikers, okay, and a lot of stuff now being said which I can't play, and you gotta love these early 2000s movies since these kinds of movies cannot be made today in the 2020s. Maybe for streaming services, but this movie came out in a time where there was no Netflix, there was no Amazon Prime Video, there was no Hulu. There was nothing, anything made for the internet besides work in the early 2000s. So, yeah, life was simpler, less distractions, and more focus on things we loved.
If you saw me, would you beat the shit out of me?
I'd probably you. You might as well buy a welcome mat and strap it to your say I'm open for business.
So he shows a tattoo on him to make sure he's tough enough for prison, but not tough enough since Stan, is not tough at all. So Stan goes back home as he now sees Mindy and now says this.
Stan?
I'm really...
Stan now wakes up the next day as he thinks he dreamt about this entire finding out he's going to prison, the court, and the biker with the advice on prison. And yes, he is still going to prison 6 months. He just slept a long time, maybe more than 8 hours. So he starts telling his life stories, and now he goes shopping for ways that could prevent him from being potentially raped in prison. So he shows her a so that he could get raped for the first time by a male prisoner. Watch that on your own. Looks like he's gonna get I can't show the scene,
I will be on...
Okay, next scene, Stan is at a kid's dojo for self-defense, or martial arts dojo, and he just wants to move up in rank already. Kind of reminds you of Mr. Miyagi, Danny LaRusso. So Master Cho here, played by Simon Rhee, who's actually Philip Rhee's brother, the martial artist. If you've ever heard of Philip Rhee, if you've seen any of his movies, check it out. Calls in Seymour, an experienced guy, to fight Stan so that he can get a green belt quicker, so that he can move up in rank faster too.
See what you got.
So Stan gets towards Seymour and gets kicked out of the dojo for good for now. Now Stan finally meets the real master of martial arts, the master himself, played by David Carradine. You know Kung Fu, the TV show from the 70s. You've seen him there. I've never seen the show. I've seen clips of it. And even Kill Bill, a movie from the early 2000s. Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2. So here comes David Carradine to Stan and will show him what's right since he knows Kung Fu.
Any questions?
Dinner's almost ready.
So back at Stan's house, Mindy's making frozen dinners and brings in the master with him so that he can train him for prison. And now with the frozen dinner talk and discusses all of the martial arts and that he turns anything weak to strong. And Mindy is scared of the master, so the two now go to bed.
I'm gonna take a shit. Wake up, weakling.
With blood from a bleeding heart pouring on his head to wake him up for 5 a.m. training. Now it's training time as Stan now drinks his unusual lunch to make him tougher. Got a disgusting color too. So back outside training, he lifts his foot up. The master, nice shirt by the way. Now some more harsh, painful moments to make Stan more powerful prison. And even getting his nipples stretched out and strengthened. I won't show the scene either. Watch it on your own. Yeah, this movie, it's a lot. And even makes Stan eat a live scorpion. And luckily, Mindy got into an easy conversation with the master, saving Stan from eating the live scorpion. So Mindy continues to complain about the master's presence at the Stinton house, and the next day...
Mindy! Some men broke into the house!
Oh my god.
Now you know how I feel.
What?
Fear of
At least she now knows how Stan will experience prison once he gets there. And now she runs away from him after that joke, takes everything Stan paid for, including the car that Stan also paid for too. Well, good riddance, meanwhile, with the master.
No, not really, but maybe we can visit people who have kids.
One moment. I'm meditating.
So back to training as a master himself continues to help Stan to be bulletproof in prison, and even makes Stan make a dent in this piece of wood with his middle finger. And a lot of training, working out footage, and back to lunch. And as he now has to eat this baby snake. And now more training as the three now have dinner with that crooked lawyer again, Potter. Now congratulates Stan being his second best student, and now Stan is back at Master Cho's dojo to start a fight. So that's done, and now walks back with the Master and Potter. So the time is now here for Stan to finally go to prison, being dropped off here at the courthouse, as Potter says that Stan's prison location has suddenly changed, and even asks about if Mindy got the divorce ready for him to proceed with.
It's Master Cho to you.
Master Cho or Master Bader Cho?
So Stan goes inside, but first, with Mindy closely watching too. So now onto the bus as Stan first meets his potential prison. He doesn't have a name, but he's played by former MMA fighter Don Fry. Not UFC MMA, some other company from the 90s. I don't know the name. You see this guy a lot on social media. Well, at least I have. You
should walk away quickly. Hey, sweetie. Ain't you got a name?
Yeah, so yeah, he's done movies too. So we now made it to this Oaksburg State Prison, and we now meet the warden, Francis Gasquet, played by Scott Wilson. And now hard rules have been established, and now finally the strip search with Waingro from the movie Heat from 1995, the Al Pacino and Robert De Niro movie.
Why are you screaming like a goddamn little girl? Sarge, it's like an alien staring into my soul.
Now Stan meets his cellmate, Larry, played by Henry Gibson, where he will be staying in for the next 3 years with him, and wants the top bunk where Larry is on.
This is my bunk. What gives you the right to do... Ow!
I'm kind of a compulsive masturbator.
Man, this movie's so much. Okay. Pretty good stuff. And now we meet all the prisoners who are now hanging around the open area outside the prison, and now Stan wants to meet the biggest predator on this ground. And Larry points towards him, and his name is Big Raymond, played by Bob Sapp. You know Bob Sapp from the 90s, professional boxer. If you've seen the Mike Tyson clips of Sign the Contract Baby, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Late 90s, early 2000s, I don't know when that was. So Big Stan goes up to Big Raymond and triggers him to talk. Now Stan catches the attention of everyone, and now time for Big Raymond to catch something he never caught before.
You think I want money?
Excuse me.
Bug off, bitch. I'll get to you later.
Big Raymond, for no reason, just called me bitch.
So Stan has gained popularity among the other prisoners for beating up Big Raymond, so Don Fry and his friends want Stan to join them, refuses, and here comes the rest of the prisoners, which happens to be Cleon's guys, but Cleon himself isn't doing anything, so Big Stan beats all of them up, including the wooden stick finale. And now this chef comes out, who happens to be another martial artist. I think his name was Danny Inosanto. But yeah, he's a known martial artist. You heard Steven Seagal talk about him here and there. So Stan punches the teeth out of Cleon, and Don Fry's group will be coming after Big Stan shortly, as Warden Gasquet liked what he saw, what Big Stan did. So now it's lunchtime as we see all of the beaten up guys as Stan doesn't react disgustingly to the food they serve here, and now this one with the long hair comes in since Bob Sapp wanted him for a different reason. Even the prisoners at the back want to. So he leaves Stan alone to finish his food, and now back to his cell as the corrections officer walks in on Stan and tells him that the warden wants to see him, and freaks out the corrections officer really badly.
Chica. Ooh, that is creepy.
So the warden questions Stan about his opinion on the prison land. He admits that he made the court bring Stan here on purpose, so that makes sense why Stan's prison location was changed at the last minute, so that he could be used for his real estate expertise, since he's got a plan to get rid of the prison and to make it into a luxury condo destination, all planned by the Warden Gasquet over here. So if Stan does this, he can get out of prison by the end of the year. And now onto the shower scene where Big Stan will get attacked. So here comes Don Fry and his friend are here to attack Big Stan. And now this.
He's all yours.
This gonna be fun.
And of course, Don Fry, swiftly leaves after Stan's weapon has been shown. And the poor guy is going to get his guts ripped too by Cleon's guys. So back outside, Larry now comes to Stan that the guards found the guy after getting ganked by Cleon's guys. I mean, what the hell?
You know you're getting that on me?
So Potter calls back Stan to prison, tells him that Mindy's lawyer is not returning his calls if she wants to proceed with the divorce, which I think is not going to happen.
Aren't you Charlize Theron?
So back at the warden's office, Stan is looking at some papers for real estate and walks in with this Mr. Dang here. And yes, a corrupt partner for the development idea made by the warden. And he even points out some weird info in the contract, Stan does. So the warden now points out at the prisoners that they will all get an inspection after listening to suspicious things. And now for the strawberries.
Thank you. Menton. Strawberry?
No, I'm good.
Picked him a little too soon. I don't think that's it.
So Stan calls back the master. I forgot to mention that the warden has a plan to kill all these prisoners so that the luxury condo destination can take over this prison land. Okay, moving forward, Stan calls back up the master to tell him that everyone at the prison is scared of him. And now back to the lawyer while he's having sex with the woman from the bar. as someone is now breaking into his hotel room. Is actually Madame Foreman, who will give Stan the appeal for him to be released from jail, initially made by Potter.
Oh, you love me? Oh, show me, show.
Hi, fellas. I don't believe.
So Stan still asks about Mindy now for some trouble as Mr. Dank is back. So as Stan is back trying to write a letter to Mindy, Larry tells a story of how he killed his girlfriend whose picture is on the wall behind him, hence now he stays in prison forever. So Stan writes the letter now, and she gets the letter, and what do you know?
Hey, baby.
So the next scene, Stan and Larry have put all the prisoners together to throw all of their violent video games and movies, and even want the guys to dance to the mariachi. And even the Mexicans there are questioning why Stan is banning on prison ground, and even asks the long-haired guy who was about to be by Big Raymond, now mentions why he came to prison, and he is the main for all these guys. And you even see UFC fighter Randy Couture from the past there sitting down. So Randy Couture, former UFC athlete, now asks a good question here to Stan, which seems appropriate enough, and agrees. And now Big Raymond's turn to ask a question, but he's mainly asking it for himself.
Do you just want somebody to... Okay, here's another thing.
So now back to lunch for the day, as these guys are interested in joining up with Big Stan, as the long-haired guy and his friends want to, and even Don Fry wants to join in too. So Larry now hands Stan a letter from Mindy, and now Stan making all the prisoners be friends all together. So a bunch of changes has occurred around the prison, including some changes which I cannot show. Yeah, super inappropriate movie, but funny. But I can't play most of the scenes. Now for some parties, including a punch from a toilet, and now Mindy's at the prison, finally visiting Stan at this room with a bed inside it. So the warden is now concerned with everyone is so peaceful now, as they all are supposed to be in conflict with one another. And now Stan finally had sex with Mindy after how many months? Who knows how many months? How long? But Mindy also says that the master has been staying at his house with her, and now the corrections officer here, or Wayne Grove from Heat, is here to take Stan to the warden. As Warden now perfectly described that he will kill all the prisoners at this prison with the help of Mr. Dank, so that the real estate development shall commence quicker. And now it calls back up Potter to tell Stan that Madame Foreman won't return his calls for the appeal, so that Stan has no choice but to agree to the warden's deal about quick parole. Stan is back outside walking around and tells everyone to go back to their old ways, since the prison is about to be torn down, and along with prisoners are going to be terminated soon, killed soon. So next morning the warden is showing the investors around the prison before it's torn down. So Stan is now asked to leave his cell and sees Mindy and the master together waiting for him for the parole hearing, and now thinks of all the times at the prison he's had, and mentioned that he's in real estate, since he now has a plan to get rid of the warden's real estate scheme. It says everything done to get rid of this early parole, parole hearing, to make the woman in the middle pissed off. It's all part of the plan for Stan, and now Stan finds out the truth between Mindy and the master.
I was in here also. I joined a biker gang. Can I? Please?
Parole denied! Take him back to his cell.
What color?
Addiction to cigarettes made me impotent. I've had very little contact with the fair sex.
You're impotent. That's great.
Not really.
And now all the prisoners looks like they're getting killed. And also this.
The master has taught you well.
So the master's first ever student was actually Mr. Dang the entire time. No wonder Stan was the second best student. And the warden is being super nice to the investors. And what the hell?
Here comes the igloo. Pick up this.
Okay, good. Now back to fighting as the prisoners are ready to attack back. We did see Larry whispering to everyone's ear about something, and that something is now happening. So Stan finally gets his last 2 minutes with Mr. Dang, and now some more comedy as the warden gets the corrections officer here to start shooting the prisoners. Now Stan turns off the radio on time, as everyone here has already rehearsed in advance this mariachi sequence, and just start dancing on spot. Now the warden shoots at the prisoners and now knows what Stan did.
You're still my number 2 student.
Number 2?
So we are at the end of the movie with 4 minutes to spare as they all practice kung fu, and the old warden is now gone, and his corrections officer, Wayne Grove from the movie Heat, has become the new warden. Even Popper has arrived too to join the prison since, he is a corrupt lawyer. And we are almost done here. It looks like Big Raymond found a new as Mindy is here to pick up Stan, and yes, they now have a child, a little girl, with the master being their nanny. And of course, directed by Rob Schneider himself.
Yeah? Isn't the nanny helping at all?
Yeah. I think he's still sneaking cigarettes. Oh, sweetie!
And that's it. Big Stan from 2007. Great stuff. Movies like this cannot be made today. Movies like this cannot be released in movie theaters today because, in the early 2000s, things were still kind of like the 90s. Internet was less distracting. No Netflix, no Hulu, no Amazon Prime Video, just YouTube and Facebook. And the release of the first ever iPhone and whatever, and people still use Blackberries and flip phones to some extent. And that's it for me. See you next time in Top Gun from 1986, the Tom Cruise movie. Like, comment, and subscribe. Take care. See you soon and watch away. Check out Big Stan if you haven't yet. It's good stuff. Pretty inappropriate, but go ahead and watch it.